This is Splatter, a game made by and for terminally online FPS people. It has difficult gameplay, anti-corporate themes, and cool, colorful, overwhelming aesthetics. It's a love letter to a bygone era when the internet was full of weird things made by weird people with zero care for mass market appeal. Splatter is that exactly. It's a combination of explicit nonsense and sensory overload turned off publishers, as did their refusal to make any DLC. It's uncompromising, which is why it's so good. The vision is clear, blindingly obvious. Really, like, it hurts a little to look at. What does it all mean? Not even all the developers are sure. Anyway, your job is to complete splattery video game sessions that may have a chance of exploding your head. You need to quickly kill major threats, dodge enemies as you blow them away, and build weapon combos to do it with. It's all very splattery. Splatter's about what the internet does to people, exploitation in the gig economy, and erotic combos made of fluorescent gore. It's art, but the things that made it so good made it impossible to publish. Let's talk about it. Splatter was first envisioned as a fusion of two games, Devil Daggers and Super Hexagon. If you're not familiar, Devil Daggers is this super high-tension, struggle-to-last 2 minutes arena survival FPS, and Super Hexagon is a mega colorful rhythm game. I think the way they wound up blended together is pretty clear. Just consider the sick handgun, the disorienting music and colors, and most importantly, the fast-paced, difficult gameplay that gets progressively harder. More inspiration came from Doom 2016 and Dark Souls. Yes, Splatter is the Dark Souls of survival FPS games. Subscribe. You can really see the similarities in the dodge system. It rewards you for good timing, which gives the gameplay some rhythm. So far, so good, right? Tight mechanics with a solid foundation. So why didn't any publishers want to take it? Let's talk aesthetic. Not like Macintosh Plus. Well, a little bit like Macintosh Plus. Splatter is not just difficult to play, but it's also difficult to look at. It's eye-watering. The screen tears, the textures freak out. Plus, it kind of hates you. It really hates you, actually. There's this giddy masochism that comes from how much it hates you. It's so aggressive that it's funny. This should feel familiar to anyone who uses the internet a lot, and look familiar to anybody who ventures away from the big sites once in a while. Splatter's style oozes quasi-retro internet vibes, the painfully honest kind. The game is framed through arcade cabinets and CRTs, levels are covered in shitposts, one part references live leak murder footage, the enemies have Windows logos for faces, there's memes everywhere, there are terrible pop-ups, and your clients are all different kinds of weird internet guy. You love to hate them. Their social media profiles update as you do jobs and time passes, and the writing is sharp. Each has their own character arc that follows the juice harvesting work you're doing for them, since the only thing that unites the cast is that they're all exploiting you. Oh, there's also meets analog horror. That character's missions are sort of a mental break. They're quieter, creepier, less colorful, and provide actual context on the story. Like a surreality check. The overall narrative of what's happening is way less important than how it feels, though. Splatter's narrative delivery adds disembodied, progressively more frustrated voices to the difficult, loud, and eye-watering gameplay. Splatter is intentionally disorienting. It demands your full attention and then screams at you in Technicolor when it has it, in vulgar ways. The vulgarity is definitely a big reason that publishers rejected the game, but it's part of the charm. It's just not the internet without cock.jpg. I think that Splatter's sensory overload combines with the serious demands of its gameplay to make the experience of playing it touch on the artistic sublime. The sense of being lost in something and drawn into its world. That world just happens to be noisy and mean and difficult in a bunch of ways. And ugly. Boy, is it ugly. What, you want to know if I like it? Of course, dude, it's a blast! Splatter's one of my favorite games ever. It's fun to play, way smarter than it looks, and has a vision that's so clear it'll sear into your eyes. But it's difficult, and, hard to look at. That said, the first level was specifically designed to make a good demo, and that demo is still available on Steam. Free is a pretty good deal. I think Splatter could be hard to get into for someone who doesn't have a lot of FPS experience, although there is a difficulty slider if you're, a baby. It might be a little much for people with sensory issues too, but I kinda doubt anyone who has those has watched this far. Anyway, if you either really like the game's crazy, eye-watering aesthetic, or just want to see what an internet-flavored art project could have inside it, it might be worth trying to get good. I think the experience is at its best when you're pushing your limits and getting lost in the colors and hyper-violence. I think Splatter's worth at least giving a shot, and it's free to try. Made by ethical devs too. The last big reason the game never got published is because they didn't want to shoehorn DLC into it. I think that deserves some credit, and maybe a little money too. Crazy how that's on par with this though, right? Anyhow, give the game a look if you're into FPS stuff and or trippy visuals, and tell me what you think below. If you want to hear more of my brain ideas, check me out on some of these cool websites. I could really use the social media attention, since without it, my life has no meaning. Have a good one!